a girl named Embry gets excited about going to a fashion show she really wants to attend. However, her mom says she can't go, and this gets her pissed. She eventually decides to sneak out, but unfortunately, she gets lost and ends up in a sketchy street with no one around. A few weeks earlier, a boy named Noah arrives at school to begin his first day of middle school. Noah is a boy with social anxiety disorder who has been homeschooled by his dad for the past 2 years. As he's now getting older, his parents, Karen and Marvin, finally decide to let him go to school. As they're inside the car with Noah's sister Embry, Noah looks extremely nervous about his first day. Despite this, he finally decides to leave the car so that he doesn't disappoint his family. Noah then walks slowly until he gets close to the school's entrance before he stops. While contemplating whether to go in or not, a girl in a wheelchair named Amara tells him to leave the way since he's blocking her from going in. This suddenly gets Noah nervous, and he feels his head growing bigger, even though Amara looks confused because she can't see anything odd. After a while, though, the pressure of interacting with Amara seems too much for him, so he runs away. Later that day, Karen returns from work and suggests getting Noah an emotional support dog to help him in school. Noah says she doesn't want one, but his parents encourage him to try it out. The next day, Marvin and Karen get Noah a dog named Dude, who doesn't make a good first impression as he keeps licking his butt. Dude also appears to be able to speak to himself, but no one can understand him. Shortly after, Noah takes Dude and finally enters the school building for the first time. While his parents are watching from outside, they look excited about this. Inside the school, Noah suddenly gets approached by a boy named Simon, who admires Dude. Simon introduces himself to Noah and says he didn't know middle school would be so packed with kids. As he's talking, some other students come over and start touching Dude. Noah's social anxiety kicks in, and he sees them as zombies. This gets him scared, but after a while, the school principal, Myers, comes over to take Noah to his office. There, Myers says that even though he's a cat lover, he'll allow Dude into the school as long as he abides by a long list of rules. As Myers starts reading out the rules, Noah suddenly gets uncomfortable and vomits on the floor. Later that day, while he's drumming to stay calm, Embry enters Noah's room to ask how the day went. He says it didn't go as expected, and Embry suggests wearing clothes for Dude. Noah doesn't think it's a good idea, but Embry says she just doesn't want her brother to give up easily. The next day, Noah arrives at school early to avoid meeting a crowd of students. As he walks around, though, he sees Simon and immediately hides in a nearby classroom. There, he sees Amara, who looks shocked by how he entered hurriedly. Amara also sees Dude and asks why Noah brought a dog to school. He then explains his condition to her and talks about how Dude is his emotional support dog. Amara feels sorry for him, but after a while, Simon starts knocking on the door. Noah suddenly gets nervous again, so instead of opening the door, he just runs to the back of the class. The next day, Noah decides to arrive at school late, so he heads to his grandmother's coffee shop first. While he's there, he sees Simon getting bullied by 2 kids, Dale and Destiny. While Noah doesn't know what to do, Dude decides to help, so he goes outside to where Simon is getting bullied. Simon recognizes Dude and calls him a friend, but this only gets Dale and Destiny to insult him because they think his only friend is a dog. As Simon gets embarrassed, Dude pees on Dale and Destiny, and this gets them to leave. Simon then follows Dude to meet Noah, who takes the credit for sending out his dog to help his schoolmate. Simon then mentions that Amara already told him about Noah's condition. He says he didn't know about it earlier, but Noah just tells him to stop talking about it loudly. Shortly after, they head to school together, and when they get there, Simon asks Noah how his condition makes him feel. He then says that he's currently thinking of how many things can go wrong as they're walking to their homeroom class. Amara meets them on the way, and as they move to class together, Dude leaves them when he sees a snack bag on the floor. Not long after, Noah starts to feel uncomfortable, so he looks around for Dude, but his dog is nowhere to be found. Meanwhile, as Dude struggles with the snack bag, he trips Myers, who then falls and spills his tea after bumping into another teacher. All the students see this, and Myers also blames Noah for not holding his dog. As he now feels embarrassed, Noah gets pissed at Dude and heads home. That night, Noah tells his parents that he no longer wants to see Dude because the dog only cares about himself. Dude hears this and sounds disappointed, so he decides to leave. Meanwhile, Marvin and Karen convince Noah to give schooling another try. He then says that if he fails to make it to the homeroom class on the next day, he'd like to stay at home and continue being homeschooled. The next day, Noah arrives at school without Dude. Amara and Simon ask about the dog, and Noah says Dude probably ran off after hearing the hurtful things he said. He also says it doesn't matter anyway because he only came to school for one last attempt to please his parents, who are waiting in their car outside. As Noah then sees Myers walking in his direction, he tells Amara and Simon to show him the back exit. Elsewhere, Dude bumps into an old buddy named Reginald, who is walking with his owner. Reginald asks about Dude's owner, and he says he messed up while trying to steal the snack. Reginald then advises Dude that there's still time to make amends. Following this, Dude decides to look for Noah at school. Before Noah takes the back exit, Amara and Simon show him their homeroom class, which is nearby. As Noah thinks of going in, he suddenly gets nervous and sees himself sinking into the ground. Even though he complains about this, Amara and Simon don't understand him because he's still standing upright to them. Almost immediately, Dude enters the school and appears to be the only one who sees Noah sinking. Noah looks happy to see his dog again, and Dude also manages to drag him to class. As he gets there, Noah looks relieved and set to begin school properly. After the weekend, Noah looks excited about going to school, and this makes his parents happy. Before they leave, Karen tells Marvin to consider sculpting again, since he doesn't have to homeschool Noah anymore. Marvin doesn't seem interested in returning to his old job as an artist, but Karen tells him to think about it. Shortly after, Noah arrives at school and talks with Amara and Simon about how they spent their weekends. Later on, their teacher, Miss Fleckberg, announces that she has the perfect first assignment for the students. She says they'll have to do an oral presentation where they get to talk about themselves in front of the class. As Noah hears this, he gets uncomfortable and looks worried about it. Later that day, on his way to sit with his friends, Noah bumps into a girl named Valerie, who he seems to instantly like. They eventually head separate ways, and Noah finds his friends. At the table, Amara asks Noah if he's okay. He says he is, but she then mentions that she saw how nervous he looked when Fleckberg talked about the assignment. Noah says he's just bothered that he might not be able to do it. Simon suggests telling the teacher, but Noah says he doesn't want to disappoint his parents. Dude hears this and decides to get Noah excited by giving him some treats. As he walks around the cafeteria, he sees a cookie and decides to get it. However, before he can do that, Myers takes it. The principal also eats it and jokes about how pleasing it is to watch Dude miss out on the cookie. Meanwhile, Karen tells Embry to be supportive of Noah and help him find ways to blend in well at school. Elsewhere, Amara advises Noah to try meditating before practicing his presentation. She says her mom, who is a surgeon, always creates a calm environment for herself when meditating anytime she's nervous. Amara also says that even though the meditation process gets her mom calm, she still managed to lose 6 patients. Noah says he'll try it, and when he gets home, he starts slicing some lemons. Marvin sees him and tries to engage his son in a conversation, but Noah just leaves. Marvin is not too happy about this, but he says nothing. While in his room, Noah then starts meditating. Things appear to be going well at first until his eye starts itching after touching it with lemon water. This gets him tense, and he then suddenly sees Amara's mom threatening to kill him as her next victim. Luckily, Dude taps him back to reality, and he then sees Embry taking pictures of him. Even though she says the pictures are for their grandmother, Noah still sends her out of the room. The next day, Noah tells Amara that her plan didn't work for him, so Simon suggests singing. However, Noah says he prefers drumming. When he gets home, he tries it again, but as he sees himself in front of a booing crowd, he suddenly loses his confidence and stops. When he's back to reality, he sees Embry taking his pictures again, and he sends her out. The next day, Noah complains to his friends about another failed plan. While they're talking, Dude tries to get him a cookie to lift his mood, but Myers beats him to it again. However, as Myers drops it while speaking to a student, Dude steals it, and the principal gets pissed. Despite Dude's hard work to get the cookie, Noah says he's not interested. He then tells his friends that he might need to practice his presentation in front of a crowd that won't judge him. Dude decides to help again, so he finds some dogs for Noah to practice with. However, it also doesn't work as the dogs leave when he starts to bore them. He sees Embry taking his pictures again, and as he snatches her phone, he realizes that she's creating an Instagram account for him. Embry then confesses that she's just trying to help him like their mom wanted. However, Noah tells her to delete the account. She then pretends to delete it, because she believes he'll still need it one day. Back at home, Karen sees Marvin looking sad inside his workshop. She asks what's wrong, and he says he saw Noah's assignment inside his bag. He adds that he's unhappy that their son didn't tell them about it. Karen then consoles him and says it might be Noah's way of handling things himself. She also shows him a picture of some scrap metals she just ordered so he can begin his sculpting again. This doesn't get him excited, but he agrees to get back to his art again. Later that day, when Noah returns from school, he seeks help from his dad regarding the assignment. Marvin asks why he didn't mention it earlier, and Noah says he didn't want his parents to think he was not ready for school. Marvin then encourages his son and says he's sure he'll find a way to do his presentation well. The next day, Noah then uses Dude as a puppet to make his presentation. After he's through, Amara and Simon commend him for doing well. As they head home, Myers stops them and says Dude is now banned from the cafeteria. Noah and his friends can't believe this, but Myers says his decision is final. The next day, while Noah and his friends are inside the cafeteria, Dude watches them from outside. There, one of his old friends named Scratch sees him. After catching up for a while, Scratch invites Dude to come with him to get some free sausages in a nearby place. Dude then says he can't just leave anyhow, because he needs to be there for Noah at all times. Elsewhere, Amara and Simon start talking about a popular game. Noah doesn't seem to know about it, so they suggest playing it together at Simon's house. Noah suddenly gets uncomfortable at the thought of going to someone's house, so he invites them to his house instead. They agree to this, but when Noah gets home, he sounds incredibly nervous as his parents start helping him prepare for when his friends arrive. While they're at it, Embry tells Karen that she wants to go to a fashion show. However, Karen tells Embry to stay at home to support Noah. Embry doesn't like the sound of this, so she just leaves the house secretly. Shortly after, Amara and Simon arrive at Noah's house. They are welcomed in nicely, and after a while, they start playing games. Noah also gives Dude permission to stay away, so he decides to head out to meet Scratch at the sausage joint. Meanwhile, everything appears to be going fine in the house until Marvin starts talking about an old game. Noah feels embarrassed, so he goes to inform Karen. Before they return to the room, Marvin has already taken Amara and Simon to check the statue he's working on. Noah and Karen join them there, and they immediately convince Marvin to let the kids return inside. Elsewhere, Embry gets lost and doesn't know how to find her way home. As she laments about this, it turns out she's close to where Dude and his friends are eating free sausages. Dude then sees her and leaves his friends to help her find her way home. Back at the house, Amara lets Noah try out the game, but as he plays, he gets scared of losing and ends up playing badly. Amara eventually takes back the controller and continues playing it with Simon. As they keep playing repeatedly, Noah gets worried and believes his friends don't think he's good enough. When they realize that Noah doesn't look happy, it's already too late, as he just sits silently and says nothing. His friends immediately call his parents, and shortly after, Amara and Simon decide to leave. A while later, Noah finally starts talking again, and he complains about how he suddenly froze in front of his friends. Marvin says he's sure his friends will understand, and as Dude returns, Noah finds comfort in hugging his dog. The next day at school, Amara and Simon apologize for not allowing Noah to play the game for so long. He looks happy to see that they're not pissed, so he forgives them. Shortly after, Dude then leads them into a room where they can start having lunch together instead of going to the cafeteria. The following day, Marvin and Karen discover that they both have important places to be in the morning. Because of this, they start wondering if there's a way either of them can make a compromise, since they won't be able to take Noah to school. Instead of making his parents give up their appointments for him, Noah says he can take the bus. His parents are extremely shocked by this, but Noah says he can join Simon at his house to take the bus together. Marvin and Karen are not so sure about this, but they decide to allow Noah take the bus for the first time. Following this, Noah meets Simon at his house. He asks about the bus, and Simon says it's not as bad as he might be thinking. Shortly after, Simon also says he has something to confess. He says he likes Amara, but Noah says it's best for them to keep it between each other. A while later, the bus arrives, and as they enter, Noah gets nervous and sees the students as old savages. He also looks really scared, but Simon finally gets them a seat. After they sit, Simon starts talking about Amara again, but just then, Noah sees Valerie and admires her. Simon sees this and asks if Noah likes Valerie. Noah denies it, but Simon says it's not a bad thing because Valerie is one of the cool kids at the school. He also says she throws the best Halloween party, though he never gets invited. As they're talking, Dale and Destiny suddenly show up behind them and start bullying Simon. Noah can't do anything, and he even sees the bullies as monsters. As the pressure gets to him, he switches his seat and leaves Simon to deal with them alone. Later that day at school, Simon is unusually silent, and Amara notices it, so she asks Noah what happened. He tells her about the bullies and says he moved seats because he didn't know what to do. Amara then says that he has a confrontation problem. She offers to teach him to be fierce, and he agrees. However, despite everything she teaches him, Noah says he's not sure he can defend Simon from the bullies. Amara then calls him a coward, and this is enough to bring out Noah's confrontational side as he defends himself. With this, Noah realizes that he has what it takes to stand up to Simon's bullies. He thanks Amara for her help, and she looks happy as she seems to like him. Later that day, Noah sits next to Simon again. However, as the bullies show up, he leaves his friend and allows him to be taken to the back of the bus. Noah continues to picture Dale and Destiny as monsters, but after a while, he also appears to be a hero who shouts at them to leave Simon alone. This alerts the bus driver to what's happening, and he calls Dale and Destiny to always sit behind him every day. Simon then looks happy about this, and he thanks Noah. As the bus drops them off, they see Amara waiting for them. She says she couldn't wait to hear how it went, so she told her parents to drop her off. Simon says it went very well, but before he says more, Valerie calls Noah from inside the bus and says she likes his shirt. This makes Noah happy, but Amara gets jealous and looks unhappy. The next day, Noah suddenly gets a notification on his phone and sees that Valerie has followed him on Instagram. While he's surprised that there's Instagram on his phone, Simon tells him it's a good thing because they could get invited to Valerie's Halloween party. Shortly after, Amara calls them to come over to check the list of roles for the school musical. She looks pretty excited about it, but as she checks the board, she sees that she's only part of the chorus. She's not too happy about this because she wants to be the lead singer, so she goes to meet the music teacher, Mrs. Wachowski. As she asks why she didn't get the lead role despite her good voice, Wachowski says it's because the role involves some dancing, which Amara can't do with her wheelchair. She looks disappointed, and when she meets with her friends again, they ask her what the teacher said. Amara says it's because the other girl was better, but Simon senses that she's not happy. While he's then helping as part of the crew, he sees that Amara didn't get the role she wanted, so he decides to sabotage the girl who got it. Later that day, while Noah and his family are at his grandmother's coffee shop, he sees Valerie. She then approaches him and talks about how she just followed him on Instagram. She also says it's surprising that he has no posts yet. Embry then interrupts and tries to be friendly toward Valerie, who appreciates it. After a while, though, Valerie says she's looking forward to Noah's first post. As Karen is also about to leave, she tells Marvin that she just informed a gallery owner to come over to check the statue he made. This gets Marvin nervous because it has been a while since he let his work get criticized. The next day, Myers gets interviewed by a local news network. Despite trying to talk about himself, the presenter seems more interested in the emotional support dog present in the school. Myers then has to beg Noah to let Dude be part of the interview. Noah is unsure about this, but Dude looks interested because he knows it's a chance to steal the limelight from Myers. As they then get to his office, Dude doesn't take long before he starts entertaining the presenter and getting more screen time than Myers. To make things worse, Dude also embarrasses Myers by making him fall and also clean his poop in front of everyone. Elsewhere, Noah gets worried as he tries to decide what to post on Instagram. He first decides to post a baby picture, but his anxiety doesn't let him go through with it. He also takes an artsy picture, but again, the voices in his head stop him from sharing the post. Meanwhile, Simon is not really bothered about Noah's struggles, as he's trying to sabotage the lead singer's performance. He tampers with the microphone and gets a moving clock to stop the performance, but no one knows he's the one. After a while, the teacher catches him and calls him to explain himself. Amara quickly meets him to ask why he did it, and he says he wants to help her get the lead role back. Just then, Wachowski sees them together and thinks Amara planned it with Simon because she didn't get the role. Amara gets embarrassed and shouts at Simon for doing what he did. Later on, while Simon and Noah talk about what happened, they hear Amara singing in the hall. They quickly run to commend her singing, and Noah also says she deserves to be the lead singer. Suddenly, he comes up with an idea and decides to post a video of Amara singing on Instagram. This works out quite well, and the post gets more reach when Valerie shares it. After this, Wachowski changes her mind and makes Amara the lead singer. This makes her happy, and she thanks Noah for posting the video. Elsewhere, Karen finally makes Marvin get comfortable with the idea of meeting the gallery owner, even though he's still worried. He says he's ready because he's done with the statue. After a while, Valerie sees Noah at his grandmother's coffee shop again. He gets very nervous and shouts as he thanks her for sharing his post. Valerie then says she liked what he did for his friend. She also invites him and his friends to her Halloween party. This gets Noah so excited that he imagines the glass being him getting shattered. The next day, while Marvin and Karen are preparing to receive the gallery owner, Noah mentions that he got invited to Valerie's party. This leaves them shocked, but as he says he's not sure he's going yet, Embry says he has to go and make a good impression so that she can also get invited to the party one day. Meanwhile, as Dude is playing with a ball in the yard, he mistakenly throws it into Marvin's workshop. As he then tries to take the ball since it's stuck in the statue, he ends up pushing it down and breaking a part of it. He looks disappointed by this, and as Noah enters the workshop and sees what happened, he starts to panic because the gallery owner will be around soon. Luckily, Amara and Simon come to visit, so he seeks their help. As they contemplate what to do, Noah mentions that they have been invited to Valerie's Halloween party. While Simon looks excited, Amara looks jealous and says she's not going. They eventually think about the statue again, and Noah notices that there's a missing part. As they look around, they see a piece of jewelry, and Dude immediately recognizes it. He then leads them to see that the dog in the next house named Grumpy Pants must have taken it because the jewelry belongs to her. After a while, Amara and Simon decide to distract the house owner while Dude and Noah head to the house to see if they can find the missing part of the statue. Before they leave, Embry also sees them and decides to help by stalling the gallery owner because she doesn't want Noah to be grounded so he can go to Valerie's party. Just then, they head separate ways to begin their parts of the plan. Meanwhile, a man named Logan arrives and says he's there to represent the gallery owner because he's the one who manages the place. He also says he wants to quickly check the statue to see if it will fit the gallery. However, Embry enters the house and keeps Logan and her parents from going to the workshop. Amara and Simon also distract the neighbor Lori by talking about saving seals. Meanwhile, Noah and Dude break into Lori's house to start digging. While he's at it, Noah sees a message from Valerie saying he can bring Dude to the party. Noah looks happy because he believes it's a sign that she likes him. As he doesn't find the missing part of the statue, he suddenly gets nervous and sees some monsters coming to attack him. Dude tries to bring him back to reality, but he seems really focused on his imagination. Just then, Dude finds the missing part, but as he's about to pick it up, Grumpy Pants stops him. However, as he begs her that he doesn't want to be taken to the pound since it's his fault, Grumpy Pants gives up the missing part because she knows how bad the pound can be. Elsewhere, Karen notices that something is wrong, so she asks why Embry is trying to keep them away from the workshop. Embry then tells her what happened, and with this, she joins her daughter in stalling Logan. Meanwhile, Noah tries to glue the metal back on the statue, but it doesn't stick. He then gives up and decides to take the blame for the broken statue. Amara asks if it means they won't go to the party, and Noah confirms this. However, as Simon hears that Amara now wants to go to the party, he decides to do his best to glue the metal back. Unfortunately, he ends up gluing the chips in his hand instead. Almost immediately, Logan and Noah's parents enter the workshop since they've been tired of waiting. Marvin sees the chips on the statue and looks confused. As Logan also wonders what he's looking at, Marvin explains what the statue is about and how it's supposed to look with the missing part. This impresses Logan, and he says he likes it. He also adds that they'll be able to sell it for a good amount. As the family looks happy, Noah says sorry for not mentioning what happened with the statue. Marvin then says it's not a problem, though he adds that Noah should have told the truth earlier. While leaving the workshop, Simon then begs Noah to go to Valerie's party because it will be a good way for him to talk to Amara about his feelings. The next day, Noah gets several costumes, but doesn't know which one to wear. While he's struggling to decide, Embry comes in to help him. Noah then mentions that he can't believe he's the only one among his friends who hasn't picked a costume, because it means Amara is coming. Embry says it's interesting. Noah asks why, and she says it's because Amara likes him. Noah doesn't believe this, but Embry says she knows it because of how Amara always looks at him. Noah then says he can't afford to let her like him because it would create an awkward situation since Simon likes Amara. Shortly after, Noah picks a Star Wars costume and leaves for the party with Dude. As they reach the front of the house, they meet Amara and Simon already waiting. Amara says she likes Noah's costume, but Simon finds this surprising because she told him she hates Star Wars. Amara denies it, and Noah tries to shift attention away from him. After a while, they decide to enter the house. Even though Noah initially gets scared because he imagines the house to be a monster, he eventually goes in with his friends. As they walk around, Noah sees Valerie, but as Simon encourages him to go and talk to her so he can be alone with Amara, he imagines that she's a scary clown. He immediately hides inside a nearby room, but Amara and Simon follow him. Amara suggests waiting inside with him while Simon goes away, but Noah says he just wants to be with Dude. Following this, his friends leave him alone with his dog. After a while, he decides to head out, but the noise is too loud, so he stays back. Dude then decides to bring Valerie to meet him. As Dude does this, Noah looks shocked, and Valerie says she thought he didn't come. He then guesses what she's wearing, and she says he's the first person to get it right. After they talk and laugh for a while, someone comes over to call Valerie to judge the costume contest. As she's about to leave, she tells Noah to come with her, and he agrees. Meanwhile, Simon finally decides to tell Amara that he likes her. However, before he's done talking, she gets tired of hanging out with him, so she says she's going to check on Noah. When she sees him, he's already with Valerie, and she looks pissed. Noah spots Amara in front, so he decides to leave Valerie so he doesn't get her angry. Since he's also looking uncomfortable, Dude decides to create a distraction by dancing to entertain the crowd. While he's at it, one of Valerie's friends thanks her for inviting the dog, even though she also had to invite the weird anxiety kid, who happens to be listening to her. Noah looks pissed, but Amara then approaches him. He tries to be friendly, but she sounds angry that he'd rather hang out with Valerie instead of her and Simon. She also mentions that the only reason she came to the party was so that she could be with him. She then leaves, but Simon appears to have heard everything. He says he can't believe Noah knew that Amara liked him. Before Noah can explain himself, Simon also leaves. Noah's social anxiety kicks in, and as Dude comes close to check on him, he lashes out at the dog and blames him for bringing Valerie to meet him. He also says that he doesn't want Dude anymore. Everyone hears him because he's loud, and this makes him feel embarrassed. Suddenly, he starts feeling the room revolving around him until he vomits on the floor. The next day, Dude is nowhere to be found, so Noah's parents start making calls and preparing posters to help find their son's dog. Noah doesn't think it will make much of a difference because he said really harsh things to the dog. However, Karen tells him to stay positive. After a while, Dude surprisingly shows up at the house to find the food he kept in the yard. Noah sees him and immediately goes to apologize. He also says that Dude is not just his dog, but he's now family. Following this, Dude jumps on Noah and agrees to enter the house. Elsewhere, Amara and Simon talk about how the previous night was awful. Simon also asks if Amara is ready for the musical later that night because the whole town is coming. Amara looks nervous, but before she says anything, Noah comes in with Dude. As he tries to apologize, he suddenly freezes and stops talking. Amara and Simon then leave him. Meanwhile, Myers watches the news network interview where Dude is called the real boss in charge of the school. Myers doesn't like this, but as he then looks at his cat, he sees a flea on her body. He complains about it, but as he's about to throw it away, he decides against it and comes up with another plan. While Noah is working with the crew, he sees that Amara has locked herself inside her changing room. He believes it's his fault, but before meeting her, he decides to tell Simon about it. On his way, some kids make fun of how he vomited at the party. As he gets uncomfortable, Valerie shows up and defends him. After the kids leave, she says sorry to Noah for what happened and says she didn't know he wasn't okay at the party. Noah eventually says it's nothing, so she asks if she'll see him at the musical. He suddenly remembers Amara and tells Valerie that he has somewhere to be. He then leaves to meet Simon while he's handing out flyers at the event. Simon still hasn't forgotten what happened at the party, but Noah says he didn't know Amara liked him until a few hours earlier. As they're talking, Dude gives them some space, and there, Myers shows up and pretends to be friendly to the dog. He then drops the flea on Dude's body while touching him. Meanwhile, Noah tells Simon about Amara, and this gets him interested. They then head over to meet her. After convincing her to let them in, she opens the door. Amara then says she can't face the whole town. Noah encourages her and says that if he can face them after what happened at the party, then she can also get rid of her fear. Amara says it's different because Noah has Dude, and just then Simon says they can also follow her. Shortly after, the musical starts, and Amara comes out with Noah and Simon. Noah's parents and sister are at the show, and they look shocked because they know that being on stage must be difficult for Noah. As he starts to feel uncomfortable though, Amara holds him and Simon, after which she starts singing. The show goes on successfully, and everyone applauds the students when they're done. Before they head home, Karen, Marvin, and Embry congratulate Noah for being part of the musical. They also tell him to meet them at his grandmother's shop to celebrate. As they're talking, Dude starts scratching his body furiously. Just then, Amara and Simon meet Noah and look happy together. Noah asks if they're friends again, and Amara says that even though she was angry at the party, she's happy to be his friend. She also mentions that they can stay as friends. Before they go and celebrate together, Myers shows up and says there has been a flea outbreak in the school, with some students seriously scratching their bodies. Myers then points to Dude as the main suspect, since he's the only animal on the premises. Noah immediately checks Dude's fur and confirms that there are fleas on it. Myers then says that he has informed the school board about it, and they've agreed to suspend Dude indefinitely. This shocks Noah, as he then imagines two monsters appearing behind Myers. As the principal walks away, Amara and Simon come over to stand beside their friend, who will now have to attend school without his dog.